In this video, we're gonna explore the discharge process for an inpatient patient who are going to the SSLTC unit or the PAC unit. So here I have the patient's chart opened. Then from the menu, we're gonna select patient summary. Inside patient summary, there are multiple tabs that you can choose. So here we're gonna choose the discharge tab. Inside the discharge tab, there are multiple components. We're gonna explore each component individually. In the active issues, it records all the previous or current issues that are being identified on this patient. So whether they are chronic or acute illnesses that are being documented. Social history is any social history that are being documented on this patient. The orders tab shows all the orders that are being ordered on this patient. Whether there are activities, diets, infusions, medications, labs, diagnostic tests, consults, or communication orders. So this little sign that are next to the order indicates that this order is being placed from a power plan. Discharge documentations are any documentations that are being documented on this patient regarding discharge. So here we have discharge planning assessment, which was done by the nurse when the patient was first admitted. And here it has the anticipated discharge date and the discharge plans that were discussed with the patient or family, or where the patient was anticipated to go to after they were discharged. So for our patient, we were saying that the patient is most likely going to residential care. And the valuable and belonging documentation. This was done during admission, which documented all the belongings and valuables that the patient has brought in with him or her during admission. So the main thing for discharge, we want to make sure that all the valuables are being returned to the patient. So before the patient's being discharged, the nurses have to make sure that they chart in this form to say that all the valuables are being returned. And then from the discharge documentation, the nurse has to also complete the nursing discharge checklist. So in this checklist, there are just a few things that we want to make sure that we do provide for the patient. For example, the discharge education, discharge summary, prescription, any medication that are brought from home that has to be returned for the patient, also the valuable as well. And if the patient will require any home equipment or supplies needed before going home, then they are being arranged, and also community service and also transportation are being made for the patient. And we can also chart whether the patient left with the daughter or the spouse or any person that are accompanying with them during discharge. So for the purpose of the patient going to the SSLTC, so none of this would apply. And we can write in the discharge comment that the patient is being transferred to the SSLTC unit. as you can see, the provider has already wrote the discharge summary for this patient. That's why it's showing up in the discharge tab. And where there's an asterisk is because the physician has not done a discharge medication reconciliation. So once the medication discharge medication reconciliation is done, this asterisk will disappear, and that would be the discharge process for the patient who will need to be transferred from the inpatient unit to the SSLTC unit.